Hi, I'm Russell Franks, and today we're going to take a look at how easy it is to use WebFormZ and to work with multi-instance panels. Questions can be single instance or multi-instance. Single instance is where you're capturing one answer to a question on a form, for example, your name or your hat size. Multi-instance is where you want to capture a whole list of answers, for example, your educational qualifications, CPD experiences, or the training courses you've attended. In iMIS, this information is presented in the tabs on the customer portfolio. At the moment, multi-instance in WebFormZ works independently of iMIS multi-instance, but we will shortly release an action that will allow you to read and write from iMIS multi-instance into your WebFormZ. Let's take a look at how this works. In this video, we're going to take a look at the process of creating a form which includes a multi-instance panel. So the first thing that we're going to do is create the form. So click on Add a Form and give it the basic information you need. Give it a description. Start date. Choose the person who's going to own the form. In this case it's going to be Doug Hunt. We'll change some settings and under submission settings to allow people to select this form over and over again, and then click on Save It. When we've saved the basic form definition, we then go to the Questions tab and add a new question. The first question we're going to add needs to be a multi-instance question type, and then you type in the name of the panel under the word question. Then click on Save. Each time you save, the background table is updated with the questions that you've entered. We're now going to put a few more questions in. The questions are now going to be the fields that appear inside the multi-instance tab, inside the panel. And in order to do that, we can choose any of the question types, field number 1, and instead of leaving all these blank, we now check the multi-instance box and we choose from the drop-down the name of the panel that we want to place that question into. So in this case, that's the first one. Let's now put a drop-down list in there. This time we'll make that the country box from iMIS. So we'll go down to choose a query object, click on Browse, and it opens up the list of IQAs from iMIS. So we'll choose Common, then Queries, and then Value Lists, and then we'll look for the country list. So that now links the IQA together with that particular field. Go back up, click on multi-instance, and make sure it's associated with the right panel. We'll do one more. This time we'll do a checkbox set. In fact, let's make it a radio button set. A radio button set called Colors. Multi-instance, again on the panel. Down the bottom we'll choose a value list and type in the name of the colours. Three colours, and then click on Save. When the background is updated, we can see we now have the 4 fields. So we've got one multi-instance panel and 3 fields inside the multi-instance panel. We're now going to build the form. So we click on Build Form. This process takes about 5 minutes. When the form is successfully built, then you'll get a blue message on the top left hand side saying it's built successfully. and with the magic of demonstrations that happened just in a few seconds. What we're going to do now is take a look at the form that we've just built, and to do that you click on Submissions, and then we'll pretend that I'm a staff user and I now want to fill out that form on behalf of a member. So I click on Complete a Form, and I want to find that form that we've just created, which is called Multi-001. Click on OK, and brings the form up onto the screen. The first thing I'll do is go and select some member who I can fill the form out on behalf of, and we'll choose David Cookie. Click on OK, and then if I click on Form, I then see the multi-instance panel that I've just created, and I can now add records into that multi-instance panel. So I can add anything here. Got the country list from iMIS, and I can save. I'll add a couple of them just to show you. And there's nothing to stop you adding a number of different panels or other fields or sections or pages to that form as well. Let's take a look now at how you edit that form definition and maybe add a couple of other fields to the multi-instance panel. In order to do that, we'll go back into Forms, and then we'll find that form and change the definition. So we go back onto Questions, and then we'll add another question. And this time what I'm going to do is add a label, which will go the full width of the form underneath the fields we already have defined. So we'll give it a title, and then we'll put in some label text. Before we do that, what I want to do is add a table. So we'll have a table composed of two cells, and in the first cell we'll add a picture. So we go into the image manager, and let's find an image to put in. So click on the image library. Under user images, we've got a few in the library already, and one of those is bullet. And when that goes in, I'd like it to be 30 pixels wide, and click on that. So we've now got that in there. You can put a little comment in there. Can change the style of it with the drop down. So in this case we'll make it heading 5, and then we'll change the colour with the text colour drop down to purple, and we can now save. It'll then add the label into the question definition, and we're now going to take that and rebuild it. So let's save the definition first. And we'll then click on Build Form again. As you can see, the form is now built successfully, so we can go back into Submissions and see what the changes look like. So let's complete a form. Again, we'll choose the Multi-001 form, choose a member, James Soup, and we can take a look at the form. And this time we've got exactly the same thing, except that the HTML panel is at the bottom, so it couldn't be easier. Okay, what we're going to do now is go back into the form definition and add some settings for publishing the multi-instance panel out to WCM. So click on Forms and then choose the form you're working on. When the form shows on the screen, this time choose the WCM tag. What we're going to do here is we're going to go right down the bottom to the configuration settings, and we're going to add the configurations. So the first thing we'll do is auto create sitemap links and choose the WebFormZ database view. Each time you choose one of these settings, the screen will redraw, so you have to wait for that redraw. When it redraws, you can carry on choosing the settings. So this time we will choose the Forms folder to put the form into. It'll redraw again. Go down the bottom again, choose the content folder as WebFormZ, and we'll create this time the form page. And before we save that, we've got to take a look at the form page and make it look the way we want it to look on the web. So we click on form page, and there's some HTML in here already which we had on test, but we're going to take all of that HTML out, go back to the design mode, and this time we'll just put something kind of simple in, set up table, and in the middle of the table we'll put the WebFormZ logo. So let's take a look in the image library. And we'll choose the WebFormZ logo and insert it. Stick it in the middle somewhere, and this time we'll then go to save. And then once it's saved, we'll then click on Build Form again. Before we finish with this subject, let's take a quick look at how multi-instance panels are formatted for WCM. This is an example of a WCM form with 3 multi-instance panels set up, and let's take a look at the data entry on each panel. Works very much the same as the back office. Save. Let's add a new record to the second line. Save that. And there you have it. If you want to find out any more about WebFormZ, take a look at www.facebook.com/webformz or join our LinkedIn group. Just do a search on WebFormZ. Thank you.